let me know, and I'll think about it. So getting to the muffins. Sweet potato muffins. If you're just joining, we're making sweet potato muffins. So we're starting here with, this is whole wheat pastry flour. So the recipe calls for either spelt flour or whole wheat pastry flour, and I really like using spelt flour, but it's been a little harder to find lately. So I'm using whole wheat pastry, and in the recipe it mentions that if you're using whole wheat pastry, use a little less than 2 cups. And that's because I find the density of whole wheat pastry flour, it's different. It's like it's heavier when you bake it, and spelt flour, you need a little more for the same volume, if that makes sense. So when I'm using spelt flour, if I'm using 2 cups, if I sub in whole wheat pastry, I use just a little bit less. So maybe 2 cups less, 3 or 4 tablespoons, something like that. So we've got about that measure of whole wheat pastry flour here. And then we're adding in, and the recipe link is in the Hydrojet. Gentle yoga sounds awesome. Yeah, it's so good. A restored, yin is not particularly restorative. It is, it's a healing kind of yoga. It's very good for your connective tissues, your joints. It accesses different areas in your body than traditional hatha yoga. So if you're familiar with yoga, say only by the flow yoga that you will see, this is very different, and the poses are held for a longer time, and it really helps work the deeper tissues in your body. Anyhow, back to the recipe. So we've got the flour, and now I'm going to add baking powder and baking soda. So it's just a 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda, just a wee bit, and 2 teaspoons of baking powder. I'm going to try to get through this bit kind of fast so I can get them into the oven. I know, I just really haphazard measured that, didn't I? There we go. And some cinnamon. So cinnamon goes really well with when I do sweet potato muffins or anything with, you know, sort of those squash, root vegetables. Cinnamon's really nice with that. And I'm using 1½ teaspoons here. And I'm also using a little bit of cardamom. So cardamom, oh, it's really nice. If you haven't used it before, let's see if I can get it out of my hands. It looks a bit like, you know, a ground cumin or ground pepper. It has a bit of a florally kind of essence. It's really lovely, and if you haven't tried it, I encourage you to do so. What am I adding here? How much? Just a little bit. Yeah, 1/4 teaspoon. You can always add more, but a 1/4 teaspoon is a nice place to start to see what you think. And oh, Denise saying yes to yoga, and thank you. I'm glad you are enjoying the videos. Thanks, Denise. Denise also asked what kind of spatula you use. You know what? This one came with my Blendtec jar. So in the description, and I'll be talking about this soon, I am not paid by Blendtec, I'll tell you that now. They have given me equipment to use, but I love this Blendtec jar, and you'll see why in a minute. So this one actually came with that twister jar. So I'm mixing all that's the dry, and I'm mixing that together now. And this is where the magic takes place with the, and let's see if I can turn the camera a little bit so you can see this. Am I turning it correctly? Can you see that? Yeah. With the sweet potatoes. So let's see if Ollie comes to play now. So these are the sweet potatoes. When I did my video the other day about batch cooking, and I had already cooked up some sweet potatoes. So they're in the fridge. Here they are, ready to go. And I'm going to try to get one that's a little bigger because we need a little more of the flesh in there. But I just put them in a container in the fridge like that. And how much are we using? A cup. So I peel off the skin, and I do like them baked. I just find the flavor so much more concentrated. You could steam them, of course, that's fine. And that's it. And people always ask me, how do I measure it? This is how I measure it. It's very scientific. No, but for real, I just crumple it up a bit and put it in the measuring cup. I don't squish it down. It's, you know, this recipe's a little forgiving, and you can cut it up and put it in the measuring cup, but I usually just piece it out and and measure about a cup. So I'm using a little bit more here. It smells so good. Yeah, that was like 2 small ones that I used, but the size of sweet potatoes varies so much when you buy them. Okay, so that's about a cup here. Oh my gosh, Ollie is not here. I'm shocked. He must be, the door must be closed. So that's our orange sweet potato. Now you could use yellow sweet potato as well. I find yellow sweet potato is not quite as moist. Orange is more moist. So you might need a little bit of, oops, I dropped a tiny bit. That's all right, in the flour. You might need like a little bit more milk in there, but it should be okay. So that goes into the blender. And you can use a traditional blender for this, absolutely. A regular blender will work fine. I just find this for small purees and things like this where you really want to get a good puree, and dressings, puddings, chia puddings, that kind of thing. It's awesome. And then we're adding 2 tablespoons of hemp seeds. Now you could also use probably pumpkin seeds will be fine in here. I like using, you could also use cashew butter or some cashews, but I like using hemp seeds here because I find in vegan cooking it's really easy to overuse nuts and underuse seeds, right? And seeds are really quite nutrient dense, and especially hemp seeds and flax seeds, we get the omega-3s in those, which we don't get as much in nuts except for walnuts. So I like to try to work these in where I can. Also, for school and kids with nut allergies, here we are, right? Hemp seeds are a great option. So 2 tablespoons, and when you blend them in, it helps give some whole foods fat to the recipe to help bring it a lot of moisture and tenderness, and also they get mixed in so you don't see the texture for people who are a little picky with texture. Okay, and half a cup of maple syrup. Now I know that sounds like a lot, but this is the only sweetener we're using in the recipe other than the sweet potato. There's no sugar going in here. It's just maple syrup, and this is pure maple syrup. We get them at Costco. We found that's the best price for pure maple syrup. And then we got a teaspoon of vanilla. I'm only measuring it because you guys are here. Otherwise I'd just splash some in there. So I'm gonna blitz this. Now this is an attachment to the Blendtec twister jar, and this is if you're doing nut butters or a thicker puree like a pudding or something, and it scrapes the sides as you're pureeing. So you'd be pureeing, I'll show you for a moment. This is not that thick, I don't need it, but it helps blend through, move the puree as it blends. When I was developing this recipe, I found that this was yummy just on its own, and you may find that too. Like, that's actually pretty tasty, like a bit of a pudding. If you wanted to add some more vanilla, you can just play with it, but it's pretty good. If you put the cinnamon in there rather than in the flour. I'm missing something here. There's a little bit of salt in the recipe. And then where is my salt? The kids are always taking the salt. Here we go. It's a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And again, the salt just helps balance the flavors in the recipe. And then we're going to add this, mix it in. Okay? So you could add the spices to the, let me get that down. You could add the spices to the puree instead of to the flour. And I'm also needing milk. So I tend to like oat milk or soy milk in recipes. This is one brand I like, the Natura, and you can get, this one has a little bit of sweetener, I think. Let me just double check. One of them doesn't. This one does have a little bit, but you can get one without sweetener. And then this is the Oatya, Silk Oatya, which we like. I also love the Oatly milk, but it's hard to find here, and it's really expensive too. Whereas the Oatya tends to go on special in stores. So I'm gonna use that. I'm actually gonna mix a little bit of soy, bit of oat, yeah. I just find for consistency, I like these milks. I find coconut milk can be a bit, I don't know, watery or something in baking. And again, if you're doing nut-free, then cashew and almond aren't an option for you, right? So we're just mixing that about. Now the recipe also calls for raisins if you want. I know there's a lot of people who really, really hate raisins. So you don't have to use them. You could also use like dried apricots, or of course you could use chocolate chips. Now I'm noticing that I measured my flour just a little scant because I didn't measure super carefully before I got on. I'm just gonna get out that little bit more of puree because I like to. And that's looking okay. I'll add just a sprinkle more flour. Maybe a tablespoon or so. And whenever I see bits hanging in the measuring cup, then I add those again too. There. And then we're gonna get that. And then of course, if you have a dog, save the sweet potato peels for your dog. They love them. Otherwise, it's into compost. We dump our compost so much through the day. My goodness. My husband likes to freeze the compost. It keeps the fruit flies away. But then I go into the freezer and there's these huge bags of compost in the freezer, which drives me crazy because I can't find anything. All right, so we're gonna measure these in. Oh shoot. Okay, so next, I'm gonna show you, these are parchment liners. I also have those in my, I'll have to add the link for those in my Amazon store. People always ask about muffin sticking, and these are, okay, I have two different sizes because I ran out, so I'm just gonna wing it and see what happens here with these. But the parchment liners do not stick. I lost one when I moved them. Oh well. The parchment liners don't stick at all, and these are the ones, just putting in recycling, that's them right there. Otherwise, if you get just paper liners, they will stick. Oh, okay, I didn't add the raisins. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna add raisins to the batter and then chocolate chips to some of them. Angie, hi Angie. Angie has been with me for a long time. She's saying Costco's now selling an oat milk. Oh yes, it's oats and water. It's called Susie's. We have it, and Charlotte loves it. I'm gonna show it. My husband bought like, I don't know, 8 cases because Charlotte loved it so much. And you're right, it's only oats and water. I didn't even realize that. Thanks for mentioning that, because some of them are, you know, some of them are fortified and you may not want that. And then some of them have stabilizers in them. So this is from Costco. Thank you, Angie. Susie's oat milk. It is oats and water. Huh. We've had it and I didn't even notice that. See, there you are. You're always learning. So these are the muffins. I'm not even measuring the raisins, I'm just throwing them in there. And of course, they're gonna add extra sweetness. If you want to use chopped dates, that'd be great, or chopped apricots would be really nice in here. This is an ice cream scoop. I love this for measuring muffins. And I'm gonna make the mini ones pretty tall or pretty big because I don't have many liners. And then I'll have to adjust the baking time, because I've made the baking time for regular size muffins for these. These are gonna be big mini muffins. And then I'll add some chips because I'll tell you, sweet potato and chocolate are magical together. I love them together. And I can't believe I just forgot these liners at the store, but actually my store's been out of them a lot. Usually go to Choices here locally, and yeah, they haven't had them. And I'm just seeing if there's any more questions. If there's any questions, guys, ask. I think it's about time to add those chocolate chips. I'm gonna stop and add them. And these are the mini chips, which are nice in muffins because they don't, oh yeah. The big ones can be a bit chunky in muffins, I find. I like the big ones in cookies, and I find the Small chips are nice in muffins. Or like a quick bread, like the zucchini loaf that I have on my site. Okay. This is not a bracelet, by the way. I'm not making a fashion statement here. I've had a lot of tendonitis from cooking because, you know, I've been doing it for 30 years and that's what happens. So I call it cookingitis or mom elbow instead of tennis elbow. And it looks like I've almost filled these up. I'm going to throw a few more chips in the last bit because the bottom of the batter, you always need a few more chips, I find. You guys seeing that okay? Hi, Jean. And Tanya says, hi. Hi. Thank you. Ah, that's so nice. She says she's been a fan from a distance for many years. Thank you. I'm enjoying doing them. Thank you. I haven't done this kind of thing really before. And I used to do some YouTube videos and I found I'd spend forever editing them and it would drive me crazy. And if I made a mistake, I'd be like feeling the need to redo them. But now I'm just saying, hey, screw it. We're just gonna get on and do a video and see what happens. It's real life. It's not edited. Sometimes they're a bit long and that's just how it goes. And I do need one more. So the spatula is really handy because it helps scrape everything out of the bowl, as you can see. And then I tend to load up my thing, my ice cream scoop. I tend to say thing for everything. It's, any other moms do that? Say the girls go get me the thing and they're like, what thing? I'm like, that thing, you know, that thing. Like, geez, Mom. I'm like, sorry, but you know, I've got too many things in my brain and people talking to me, especially for the last 6 months. Everyone's been talking to me all the time. And I just want them to read my mind, the thing that I want. Okay, they're gonna go into the oven right now. And get all that sticky off my hands, and then we'll talk about some good products. So normally I bake these for about how long? Okay, big muffins about 26 minutes. I'm gonna bake these about, I'm thinking about 17 minutes, and then I'll check them and see. Oh, darn. There we go. My oven is, my display on my oven's broken, so it takes me a little longer to work that. Okay, so talking about some products. And I don't mind if I have a seat, guys. I'm gonna sit up on the counter. My clothes are clean. All right. First off, I wanted to talk about the pumpkin seeds that I really love. Did I do them in a video? They're called Go Raw, and they're sprouted pumpkin seeds, and they are absolutely the best pumpkin seeds you can get. If you Google them, Go Raw sprouted pumpkin seeds, they sprout them and then they give them a very light salt, so it's not too salty. Whenever I buy salted pumpkin seeds, they're far too salty. Like, it's just not pleasant. They're not nice. And then the raw ones, I don't find the kids will eat the raw ones, but yet they're very, very good for them. So the Go Raw ones are amazing, and I wish I had a bag. I haven't been able to find them. If anyone knows about the Go Raw pumpkin seeds, post where you buy them. I used to be able to get them on Amazon.com, but of course we aren't able to get, I just realized I gotta get my blender in the wash. We're not able to get those things right now through the border. So yeah, Amazon.ca doesn't have them. And if you can get them, they're like expensive for a bag, but pumpkin seeds and seeds in general tend to be a little pricier, like nuts and seeds. If you get them though, I promise you, you will find them tastier than any other pumpkin seeds you've had, right? My computer's heating up again, so I apologize for that. This is, what's the name of this? Taste Authentic. I don't have my readers. Hang on, guys. I need my readers. Taste Authentic is the brand, and this is a curry lentil soup. I really like this one, and there's a few other flavors. There's a black bean and a few, I think it's a split pea. I just like this particular flavor. It's really nice, curry lentil, and sometimes I find these pre-made bean soups are overly spicy and are, I don't know, not easy on the stomach, but this one is quite nice. If you see this in the store, this is, yeah, a really nice one to try. Hi, Denise. Denise, oh yeah, Denise, again, Denise, I know you asked a question earlier. She's asking what kind of dish rack I have. My husband got me this one maybe 7 years ago for, I think, Christmas or birthday gift or something. I know it's not a very exciting gift, but I actually really like it. And it's awesome. You can put glasses and things there, and it doesn't get grungy. Sometimes dish drainers get really grungy. This one's easy to clean. It's got a nice drain on it. He got it at a cooking store. I'm not sure what the brand is. I'll have a look after and see if I can find a name on it and post it, but I don't know the name. Next up is this Nuts for Cheese brand, and it is artichoke and herb. So this is, I don't know if this is just in Vancouver. I know they're a local brand, but maybe if you have seen this cheese in your area, chime in. It's really nice, and the flavor's great. It's not like it has chunks of artichokes. I don't taste the artichoke in particular, but it has a lovely, lovely flavor. And we use a lot of nut cheeses. If your kids are able to have nuts in school, these are great to use in sandwiches and things like that. And of course to have with soups and breads and all of those things. So that's a really nice product, Nuts for Cheese. They have a bunch of different flavors. Another one that's really good is Red Rind. It has a smoked paprika coating, and it's really nice. And then, I've talked about this one on my blog, Complement. This is a supplement. Complement, vegan, DHA, B12, and vitamin D all in one. So, you know, if you're new to being vegan, it's very important to supplement with B12. And people ask me, do we supplement with other things? Yes, we take DHA and we take D. I take a few other things just for like this time of life, for stress and that kind of thing. But this vegan DHA is an all-in-one, and it's excellent. It's a spray, so kids can have it really easy, because there's some vegan DHAs that are just the oil to take, and our family doesn't like that. It tastes kind of gross, and just swallowing oil straight up is sometimes nasty. And then I like taking the capsules, but the kids don't always take those too easily. So this is great because you spray it and you get your B12, DHA, vitamin D all in one. And unless you're in a tropical climate, somewhere close to the equator, most of us are not getting enough vitamin D at all. So I actually had a blood test done back in the fall, and I was really low in vitamin D. And I was supplementing, but I was supplementing with a what's it called, like a tablet, a powdery tablet. And my doctor said they don't absorb very well. It needs to be in an oil base. It's like fat soluble. So this is nice because the D is absorbed well, the B12 and the DHA. And the link to that is in the description as well. I tried to put most of the links in the description ahead of time. And in my last, okay, Jamie's here. Hi, Jamie. She says they have the artichoke nut cheese in Edmonton, Alberta. I wonder if it's in the States. Has anyone seen it in the States? Guys, if you're watching from the States, have you seen that one? And Tanya said she came partway through. Oh, okay, no worries. Yes, I have some of the links to the products I'm listing in the description to the video, so just go to the description, and I have the links to the muffins that I just made and some of the products. I will try to add the links after in the description, edit and add them for the other products like the Nuts for Cheese, and what else did I mention? Oh, the soup and the DHA. Oh, Angelina, the brand is Complement, It's made by the people from No Meat Athlete. If you know Matt Fraser and the good people there, the link is in the description. So just pop to the link there. And I also wrote about it on my blog, DarinaBurton.com. And what am I next talking about? Ooh, vanilla bean powder. So my last video, I talked about vanilla bean powder. It is so good. This bag is probably about $30, which sounds shocking, right? But you use a little bit of it. You really don't need a lot, and it lasts a while. You could even freeze it, get a little more lifetime out of it. I put some in, I made some oatmeal this morning and put some in that. So here it is. So what they do is they take vanilla beans, the pure vanilla beans, and grind them into that powder. So instead of buying vanilla beans and scraping out the seeds, which I used to do all the time because I love the pure vanilla flavor, but they're expensive and you don't get much out of them. And then I didn't really use the pods. I'd end up throwing them out or like composting them. So this is the pure vanilla bean, and it's, you're welcome, and it's ground up into the powder. And I have the links to that on Amazon, and I think I can get this on Amazon.ca as well. I did buy this one on Amazon.com because I'm in Canada, so I'm again buying through .ca. But it's lovely. It smells amazing. And just take it out of the cupboard and smell it. It's lovely. And then this is a bun that I think all of the products in this line are vegan. Correct me if I'm wrong, if anyone knows and has seen these. I've been finding these quite often in our local store. It's Ozuri Bakery. And so when I bought these the other day, the sign on the stand that had them had vegan. But I'm not noticing vegan on all of their packages. So it's kind of interesting that they had it on the sign but not on the packaging. I would like to see them put it on the packaging. These are pretty good. I mean, they're not completely whole grain. I think they may have a couple of products that are fully whole grain. This one's a mix, but it doesn't have a lot of weird stuff in them. Like, I'm looking at the ingredients, and it doesn't have a lot of added like preservatives, and oil is very low on the list. It's one of the last ingredients. So in terms of, you know, if you want to eat low oil, these are a nice option, and they're great for school lunches. So this is why I'm buying them, mostly because they're a great little thing to pack into the kids' lunches. They have a couple of products. One is a they look almost like a mini pita, and oh, Nadia is saying, or I guess it's Nadia, she's saying the spray's out of stock. I'll contact them on that. Maybe, I don't know if you can still back order, but I'll contact them about it, and maybe I'll see if I can arrange some kind of, I don't know, link, coupon or something. I'll ask them. They've done it for me before. I'll see. I will contact them on it. Anyhow, these little buns, you can slice them. You can eat them straight up, but I tend to slice them like that and just put a little bit of like sunflower seed butter or cashew butter, depending on what you can send to school, and a little jam, or you could put some, you know, a little bit of drizzle of coconut nectar in there and cinnamon, whatever you want. But these are a great little item, I think. I sent them to school with Hope this morning, 3 in a little package, and she loves them. They're also really nice toasted up in the evening or in the morning. So try those. These are called Snacking Rounds by Ozuri. And like I said, they also have one that looks more like a pita bread. They're about that round, and they're very thin. And they're kind of nice. You could almost use them like a very thin hamburger bun, but also really nice for toasting and stuff like that. Oh, thank you. I got the name correct. Okay, so she's saying you can't back order, and I will ask them about that, okay? And I'll post, after this post, I will post the complement product and link again, ask them about it, and see if they can let me know about the stock. The buns, again, were Ozuri. She just asked about that. Ozuri Bakery. Yeah, they're kind of nice. I'm just going to check now on the muffins and see how they're doing. They're coming along. They need another few minutes. So I can either end the video here and not show you the finished product, but I kind of want to show you the finished product. If anybody has a question, the video's gone a bit long, but that's because I actually wanted to bake up the muffins. If anyone has a question, shoot it now about anything. It doesn't have to be about today. And yeah, I was asking at the beginning of the video if you'd maybe like to do a yoga video live. I might do that. I teach yoga locally every Monday at 11:15, and it's at Vayusha Yoga, and they also have online classes, so I can teach in studio, but people can also be at home doing it online, and that's really, really nice for people who don't want to go to the studio. We switched to online when you know, COVID happened, and so now we have both options for people. So I might do that for everyone. I'm not sure, but I'm enjoying doing the cooking videos. Just wondering what else I have that I could feature. If you joined late, we talked about the oat milk from Costco, and we don't get to Costco that often. My husband goes and stocks up on maple syrup and nut butters and the oat milks and a few other key things. And thank you. But we used to go down to Trader Joe's for things, and missing that opportunity right now for sure. I am going to check the muffins. Yeah, they need just another few minutes. Guys, you're quiet. Ask a question if you're there. Do you have the smoke in the area like we have? I'm wearing my vegan necklace that Christy Robinson did. I have a couple of vegan necklaces with Christy Robinson. I love wearing these. Yeah, missing Trader Joe's. Yep, us too. It's like a lot of the items are half the price that we can get in Canada, especially for organic produce and things like that. So it's, yeah, it's expensive when you want to buy organic things in Canada. I find most of the things are a lot more expensive, and we don't buy everything organic, but we do buy a lot organic. So you know, that's one of the things that we're experiencing right now for sure. And oh, do I make almond butter? I don't, only because there's only so much I feel I can make myself. It's kind of like I don't tend to cook my own beans because I'm making meals so much and making muffins and that kind of thing. I don't make almond butter, but this twister jar that I showed you is really good for making almond butter, and they have some demos about that on the site on Blendtec. And again, I'm not paid by Blendtec. I've been like an affiliate with them forever, but have never made money from them because I think people tend to buy Costco. So, but I do love the product, and I've been using Blendtec for well over a decade. Really, really like it. Yeah. Oh, you've never tried oat milk? Okay, Denise. I have to say we almost fully switched to oat milk. For a long time, I really liked the Natura soy, and I still do. I don't have a fear of soy at all, but I quite like the oat milk, and it's just become a lot more available right now. And it's, if you look at flyers, like my husband bought a bunch of the Oatly, the Silk Oatly last week because it was on sale at one of our stores, and so he stocked up on that one. And they have, this one's unsweetened, it's got 0 grams of sugar, so it's nice for using in savory dishes as well if you're making pasta bakes and that kind of thing. Oh, Nadia is, now I don't know if I correctly pronounce your name as Nadia or Nadia. My Blendtec doesn't work. Contact them. They likely will service it for you or replace it. Contact them if it's not working. I have often had, you know, not often, but a few times I've had problems with my machine. Sometimes on the Blendtec, you might strip like the bearing or whatchamacallit, let's call it whatchamacallit down there, and it's not processing properly because it's not spinning well on the machine. And if that's the case and this is stripped, doesn't matter about the base, just can't use the jar and you need to get a new jar. So contact them and they will likely help you out. Okay, Georgette is saying she recently purchased an almond cow and love it. Okay, one of my recipe testers and friend, Mrs. Plant, I know a lot of you guys know, you probably know Mrs. Plant, Amy Johnson, and she also has an almond cow and loves it. So is it easy to use, Georgette? Is it pretty easy to use? And what's the benefit of using it versus making almond milk in, say, a blender? I'm kind of curious about that. She says it saves her a great deal of money. So that's really interesting. I'd like to know what the difference is. Checking the muffins. Hang on. Ooh, they came out nice, guys. They came out nice. We need just another minute. Tanya is saying, what is my foolproof kid-friendly dinner? I won't hold you to it if my kids don't agree. Gosh, kids, you know, I'm kind of surprised that I always think my kids will really love the standard things like pizza and mac and lasagna, and they do, but sometimes they really love my sniffle soup, my lemony chickpea lentil soup. I made a soup last night and they loved it, and I just threw things together. They do love, let's see, not the Sloppy Joes, but the Ship-Shape Joes in Plant Part Families. Let me grab the book. Gonna let that beep so they can have that last minute in the oven. So where are they? Oh, and this chickpea and rice soup, a lot of moms have told me their kids love that one. And let's see, this fettuccine is really popular from Plant Part Families. And just trying to get the picture of the Ship-Shape Joes. Oh, and burgers. I can make just about any kind of burger recipe and they love that. Lately I've been making the Beyond Beet burgers on my blog. They're also going to be in my new book, but it's a play on words for the Beyond Meat. It's bean and beet based burgers, Beyond Beet, and they're on my site. And the umami burgers is another one they really love. And that's these ones. And then here's the Ship-Shape Joes. Those are pretty popular. I just had it. Where did they go? There they are, Ship-Shape Joes. They like that. And we sometimes just have it in a bowl or put it in whole grain tortillas. And another thing I really love and my kids love is my apple lentil dal. And where is that? Hang on, here it is. This is not on my site. Some of those recipes I showed are on my site. This one isn't. The apple lentil dal. It is so fast to make, and it's not a heavily spiced dal, so it's kind of kid-friendly in that way. And it's got chunks of apple in it, so that's really nice. And those are all in Plant Part Families, but yeah, a lot of the recipes are on my site. And I'm just gonna catch up on the comments and grab those muffins. They're done. Okay. Answering the questions. Jamie is asking Georgette where she ordered the almond cow from. Maybe you could mention that. Okay, and Alma and Nadia is saying almond cow is easy to use. Do I use nut cheese like I would in recipes for dairy cheese? It kind of depends on what the recipe is. That's all I can say. I do find the nut cheeses are nicer to use as spreads for breads or to soften down with some plant-based milk and use as a mac. sauce or a creamy pasta sauce. I do that sometimes when I want to make a creamy sauce and I don't want to blend the ingredients. Like sometimes I make my own blend for my creamy fettuccine or another pasta bake. But if I don't want to blend all those ingredients and I just want something quick, I'll take nut cheese out like this, add some plant-based milk, warm that up in the pot after I've cooked the pasta, boom, you know, add some seasonings, you've got a nice pasta. And Beth is saying the sniffle soup is wonderful, thank you. And guys, that is on my site, so you can check DrenaBurton.com for that. And Georgette's saying super easy to use, the almond cow, no straining, no mess. So that sounds good. And she has added the site, thank you. Jeannie, my book is on Amazon and all online retailers. I'll add the link for you after, but you can also go to my site, DrenaBurton.com, and hit the books link, and you'll find it there. I think it's 25, but on Amazon it's probably 17 or 18, something like that. Oh, it's 20 US, 19.95 US, and then on Amazon it's much cheaper. And almond cow, they're also, Nadia's also saying you don't touch the milk with your hands. So no bacteria gets into the milk. You don't have to squeeze the nut milk in the bag, I guess. Okay, very cool to learn about that. Okay, so I'm going to show you the muffins now. Dun, dun, dun. Don't they look good? And so they're kind of bigger mini muffins. My lighting's not great because it's really dark here. And this kind of worked all right. I used the bigger liners and just filled them up a bit more. But you see they have a really nice color, really nice texture. They smell great, and when they cool, the liners won't stick to the muffins. All right, there we are. They came out really nice. So I think my baking time for those, and these were really quite full, was more like about 18, 19 minutes. If you fill them a little less, I'd say 17, 18. And yeah, oh, I had a second liner there. Look at that. I could have used it. So that's it, everyone. I hope you make the muffins. They're really good. And they're nice for school lunches. They're really nice for a nighttime snack, that kind of thing. And yeah, they're easy. You saw they were easy. All you need is cooked sweet potato, and you could probably use pumpkin puree, canned pumpkin puree, and that would work just as nicely. I just love sweet potato. I love the flavor, and it has, to me, a little more sweetness than pumpkin, so it's my favorite. So that's it. I hope that was fun for you guys. I'm gonna cool down the muffins, so I will actually transfer them from the pan and then put them on the cooling rack and let them fully cool there rather than leave them in the pan. So always do that. You can let them cool a couple minutes in the pan, then onto a cooling rack, right? Thank you, Beth. They do look good, right? Yeah, thank you. I hope you make them. Thank you, everyone. This was a long video, but I hope it was informative to you and helpful and inspires you to get baking or making some goodies in the kitchen and maybe trying out some new vegan products. Have a beautiful day, and we'll see you soon. Bye.